relates to me, well, let's talk about me here first things first. The very obvious thing anyone notices when they see me anywhere out there except for India is this here, the turban. So it's been 9 years since I've been to this country, and I came from a land where I guess I was never used to answering questions about my turban, because you grew up in a land where everyone's wearing turban, and all of a sudden you go to this massive change coming to America. Everyone comes to America in a certain way, but answering questions about turban is something I was not used to, I guess, initially. I did my homework, I knew why am I wearing it, but it was something that created a lot of mental walls for me. Walls for the people that I wanted to talk to, even if I wanted to socialize. So what is this really turban is all about? For certain others, it's a diaspora that appeared after the times when it all changed for America, 9/11. It was a time when everyone in America was flashed with similar images of this guy, Osama bin Laden, with a white turban, wearing on the national media. And the whole image, the whole propaganda was this turban guy who's terrorizing people. Well, he was wrong in very many ways, but if you look at the whole macro level picture, what it affected, what it led to, it led to a massive brainwashing of Americans, in my opinion, where everyone who was wearing turban, and technically if you're talking about statistics, on statistic level, 80 to 90% of all the turban wearing people are not Arabs. They're actually, as a matter of fact, Sikhs. Now, a Sikh is someone that, technically a Sikh means a student of philosophy, or of a teacher, of anything. You don't have to wear a turban to be a Sikh, just as long as you submit yourself as a student. Everyone is learning at some point in their lives. And turban comes into play because of our history. It's the identity that was given to us. It's the way, I guess, everyone wears a uniform as a dress code. Another example, maybe. In a military, anyone who's go through a military, you can't just go to military wearing shirt, pant like that. You gotta wear the uniform, right? Bingo. Same concept applies for the turban. Turban for us is a dress code. It's a crown. Doesn't mean everyone has to wear it, but for us it's a symbolic meaning of what's inside the turban, the hair. Hair is, we take it as, we don't cut our hair. Sikhs are not supposed to cut their hair. They're unshorn hair. There's a lot of spiritual as well as religious value behind it, as well as biological. There's always those three factors. Hair is very important to Sikhs. It's the unshorn hair that are important to Sikhs, and that's the very first rule. We are not supposed to cut our hair. They are technically are like gift of God. They're gift of the Almighty. It's the same thing for us cutting our hair is like if you were to cut my finger, cut any body part. And that's the spiritual value it takes. So the difference between, I guess, a Sikh and an Arab, from what I understand, they have different reasons for wearing turbans. Sikhs, they wear because more or less you call them religious as well as spiritual value. Here you can think about, I guess, in a way that I don't want to give this an example, but it may sound a little bit funny. Any TV, and back in the old school days, you would see an antenna like this on the TV. Why did it have an antenna? Well, to have better receiving power, you can capture signal faster. For us, here may mean, or actually, the reason why I'm using the may word, doesn't have to apply to you, the audience, but for Sikhs, it also means it's a special gift from God, but as well as it has some spiritual value to receive some sort of spiritual energy. It helps with meditation. Now, if you really want to go even granular, way back in the ancient Indian history, or even actually as a matter of fact, any ancient civilization, you tend to see, as a matter of fact, why not talk about the Christian Judaism culture here? Most of the prophets, why do they have unshorn hair? Let's talk about that. Exactly why. because ancients, they knew the value behind the unshorn hair. They had a spiritual value behind it. The same concept was passed on upon us, and this has to be applied on not only our head on the hair on the head, but as well as the head on the face. We don't cut our beard, and this is not applicable to everyone. Most Sikhs, they actually, as a matter of fact, they cut their hair and they clean shave. It's very, very liberal in that respect. Everyone has a right to choose. Then if you want to go even further granular, if you become a baptized Sikh, if you've seen those, they have a different way of living their lives. They're not supposed to cut their hair, and they're not supposed to cut their beard. Now the Disapura that relates to me, the reason why I have to go through all this depth is because when I first came to this country, explaining this concept behind the turban, why tie a turban, why it means something, why for certain others it's a totem. It's a crown for us. It's a crown for pride. It's the pride we take it upon very seriously, because the history behind Sikhs and the culture and the people is somewhat very tragic, as well as Sikhs are known to be warriors. We've given our lives for our countries, for our people. I read the history, you would probably think about mothers giving up their children, infant children, newly born, and they were cut in half pieces, and then those pieces of kids were made like a necklace, and those necklaces, mother had to wear them, and yet they didn't give up because they believed in something. It's just not about the hair. It's also about the values, the right to stand for yourself.